Hey, look, I put my plant in here. So what color is corn? Kind of an obvious question, right? Kind of a silly one you might think to ask to have as a frequently asked question, but I do get it a lot. So what color is corn? How does that affect your diet? Why do we need to know? And some other questions that might impact your health that you might want to hang around for, like, I get headaches a lot. What can I do for them? Or, is fruit full of sugar? My friend told me that I shouldn't eat fruit anymore. Questions like that. So, hang around to answer all of the questions or to find out. And if you have a question that you want me to answer, drop it below in the comments so that I can answer it. If you're watching it on a replay, still drop it below in the comments because I will check those and will cover your question the next time I do some FAQs. So I'm Esther. I am a holistic health coach. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 16 years. I've loved helping people forever. I always wanted to be a nurse. And I'm just kind of excited about my plant here. I know. I used to have my office upstairs next to really big windows. And so I had my plants in there, but I'm moving them down here to my little office, hoping that my fluorescent lights will keep them alive. I don't know. Will they? Do you know? If you know, tell me. If I can keep them in my office, tell me in the comments. So the first question, and I've gotten this question several times. Oh, thank you. Thank you for liking my plant. Plants. I think that one's dead, but it hasn't turned completely brown yet. So I'm going to say plants. What was I saying? Oh, first question that I keep getting is when I'm talking about eating food and covering like what's okay to eat and what's not okay to eat. In general, I'll say eat colorful foods that were grown on a plant, not manufactured in a plant. But colorful foods. Stay away from the white foods. And then I get the question, what about corn? What color is corn? Well, you've looked at corn, right? It's yellow, but it's a grain, officially. It's also a vegetable, officially. M&Ms are very colorful, yes, Rebecca, but they are manufactured in a plant. They are not made by a plant, on a plant. Sorry. Skittles, too. All the colors of the rainbow, but they didn't grow on a plant. So, but corn, I have this argument with Miriam. I don't know if Mary will join us. I'm not a huge vegetable fan, and so I've always said popcorn, it's a vegetable. And she's always said, no, it's not. So, is corn a color? Is it yellow? Or is it, brown, orange, all of those colors that you get on the harvest corn? Or is it white? Popcorn is white until you add butter to it. So I don't know. But I think the question right now is not what color is corn. The question that somebody's really asking is it okay to eat corn? Is corn fine? And for this, we have to dig a little bit deeper. So, in the comments below, type white or yellow, depending on how you think of corn. Do you think of corn as white, or do you think of corn as a color? But what we're really asking is, what about corn? Can we eat it? Because it all comes down to that, right? So the question is glycemic index. Now, this also is a question I get about fruit. Somebody that I was just talking to, I think one of her coworkers is going paleo, and so she's been receiving a lot of input about sugar, and a lot of foods have sugar, and fruit has sugar, so don't eat it anymore. And I'm not positive that it's just that person who's doing paleo that's telling her this, but in general, she's being told that there's a lot of sugar in fruit, so don't eat it. And that, again, comes down to this question. So I'm seeing yellow and Yeah, and then it makes your plate prettier, more colorful, that is yellow. So I've got 1 vote for white and 2 for yellow, and Rebecca says that my plant is still green, so it's alive, that one. Okay, so I've talked a little bit about the glycemic index before. There's also glycemic load. Now, glycemic index and glycemic load, it's how fast it spikes your sugar. Hi, Margie. Hi, who else has joined me? Hi, Lori. Hi, Joyce. Welcome, guys. So the glycemic index is it's a measurement of how fast your blood sugar spikes when you eat something. They actually take 10 real live people and they feed them 50 grams of sugar, table sugar. And then they monitor their blood sugar for 2 hours after that. And so then they take those same 10 people, and on a different day, they feed them 50 grams of carbohydrates of a different substance, obviously not table sugar. And then they monitor their blood sugar. That's how they get this glycemic load and the glycemic index. So some things are very high on a glycemic index, meaning when you eat 50 grams, your blood sugar is going to spike way high. And we've talked about it before. Your blood sugar is going to spike way high, and then your body sends out all of this insulin so that it can tell your sugar and your energy where to go. It can store it. And then it just stored all of your energy. Your blood doesn't have any more glucose in it, so your blood sugar just drops and you are hangry. You have to eat. You're unreasonable. You're so hangry. So that's the danger of eating high glycemic things, because we eat more during the day. Now, 50 grams of sugar or carbohydrates is kind of a lot when it comes to some things. So let's say watermelon, for example. People talk about fruits that are high in sugar, and watermelon would be one that they name. But you have to eat kind of a lot to get 50 grams. Take Rebecca's bowl of M&Ms. You don't have to eat very much to get 50 grams. So it's kind of an unfair comparison. And then when we're talking about fruit or corn, this kind of plays in. So to answer the question, what color is corn, or can we eat it, and can we eat fruit, we need to answer this question first. What is the glycemic load? Now, the glycemic load is not necessarily the index. The index just says how high and how fast it's going to spike your blood sugar if you eat a big amount, 50 grams. The glycemic load is how much does a serving impact your body. Does that make sense? Type a yes if I'm making sense, or type a bunch of question marks if you need me to go back and talk about something, clarify anything. So for example, a potato, a white potato, it has, oh, thank you. Good. I'm getting thumbs up. So thanks for my plant. Yes, I like it too. So a white potato, it's pretty high glycemic. It's 104. Now compare that to table sugar, which is in the 60s. So if you eat a white potato, or if you have mashed potatoes or French fries, it's actually going to spike your blood sugar higher than if you eat table sugar. Crazy, right? And that's why I say kind of limit the white foods. But the glycemic load of a white potato is 36. So anything on the load that's higher than 20 is considered high. Moderate is 10 to 20, low is less than 10. Hannah, that's a very common assumption that the glycemic index is based on serving size. It's actually not. It's based on 50 grams of carbohydrates. Now, if you've heard me talk about the stuff I use for my breakfast, my shakes, they can't test the glycemic index. Because I said they don't test it on a machine, they test it on a real person, and you can't physically consume 50 grams of that, 50 grams of the carbohydrates, because it's not there. Their stomach would explode. So some things can't be tested. But yes, that's a very common misunderstanding, that the glycemic index is based on serving size. And that's what gets us into problems. Because people will say, well, what about a banana? A banana is super high in sugar. Well, a banana is 51 on the glycemic index, which is, it's moderate, getting up to the high, but it's only 12 on the glycemic load, which means per serving, or, you know, how much you would actually eat. So a banana's okay. Let's see, another one. Okay, so we talked about potato. What about a sweet potato? You can substitute, you know, people talk about substitutions for potato stuff. Mashed cauliflower, right? You've heard of that. Mashed, what do they call it? Faux potatoes? I don't know. Cauliflower has a glycemic index of, did I write it down? 0. 0, guys. So, and it also has a glycemic load of 0. So if you want to substitute something for the mashed potatoes, mashed cauliflower, it's a great thing, great substitution. If you still want a potato, a sweet potato, even though it sounds worse because it has sweet in it, right? You're thinking like lots of sugar. It's only 54 for a glycemic index versus that white potato, which was 104. And it has a glycemic load of 12 versus the white potato, which had a glycemic load of 36. So there's a huge difference in what it does to your blood sugar, what it does in your body. And we don't want to store fat. We don't want to get hangry. So it's good to stay lower on the glycemic index, on the glycemic load. So back to the frequently asked questions. What color is corn? The question is not really what color is corn. The question that I think she's asking is, can I eat corn? Well, the answer is, it's up to you. The glycemic index of corn is 55, which is moderate. The glycemic load of corn is 62, which is super, super high. So if you're going to have corn, treat it like a dessert. Yellow corn, corn on the cob, it's delicious. But you have to treat it like a dessert because of what it's doing inside. Now, my kids don't understand this at all. They can't believe it when I tell them that I have one kid who wants to eat just noodles and butter, doesn't want the spaghetti sauce, he just wants noodles and butter. I'm like, no, that's dessert. Well, it doesn't taste like dessert. I'm like, well, your body is processing it like dessert because it's just sugar. It's just turning into sugar in your body. Corn would be the same thing. So generally, no. Stay away from corn. I use it in my kitchen. I feed it to my kids. We had it yesterday because it's a vegetable and a grain, but it's not the healthiest one. So, and the question goes back, how about fruit? High in sugar. Okay, so watermelon, glycemic index is pretty high, 72. But that's if you ate a whole bunch. If you only eat a regular serving, the glycemic load is only 7. And remember that anything less than 10 is low for that glycemic load. So it's okay. And watermelon is one of the highest sugar foods, and it's only 7 on that glycemic load. Pineapple, another one that you think of as super, super sweet, and it is, but it's 66 on the index, but only 12 on that glycemic load. So again, it's down into the moderate. Don't, pig out and have a ton of pineapple, but it's okay. And it's fruit. It's made by a plant, not manufactured in a plant. Eat fruit, eat vegetables, eat real food. Bananas is another big thing I hear all the time. Don't have bananas because they're too high in sugar. It's a 51 on the glycemic index. So just a banana is still just in the moderate. It's not even in the high for glycemic index. And the glycemic load, again, it's 12, so it's in the moderate. It's okay. Now, if you pair it with some kind of protein and fat, you're going to mitigate the high glycemic index because you're giving your body something else to digest with it. It's going to slow down how fast it hits your bloodstream. It's going to give yourself some fat and protein so that your body can deal with that whole meal, and it's going to be healthier. So pair that banana with some almond butter. is beautiful, or peanut butter, whatever you do. Now, I will caution you to say, anything that you dry, it's going to concentrate it more. So raisins, prunes, dried pineapple, dried mangoes, I know they're delicious, but they are very high in glycemic index and glycemic load because you concentrated it so much. And people do eat it like candy. So tonight, my family and I, we were eating spaghetti. John made supper, and he's wonderful. He cooks for us all the time. He made everybody regular noodles, and he made me spaghetti squash because gluten gives me a migraine, and I don't want migraines. So my huge bowl of spaghetti squash, like I couldn't finish it. It was half of a spaghetti squash. It was tons. The glycemic index and the glycemic load, I couldn't find it on the computer. Like I Googled and Googled and Googled, and I kept reading that the glycemic index of squash is low, but I couldn't find a number for spaghetti squash. But I did find it for noodles. Noodles, just regular noodles, it's 46 for the glycemic index and 22 for the glycemic load. So my kids and my husband, they were eating something that's pretty high glycemic. So it's not very good for them. We're working on it. No, we're not perfect. Nobody is. But spaghetti squash, everything that I could find online rated it from a 1 to a 5 on the glycemic load. So super, super, super low. It's also a vegetable, so I got a huge serving of vegetables. And yeah. So does that answer your question? Corn, doesn't really matter what color it is. It's like candy. And fruit, it's okay. So those are my first two questions. Again, if you have any questions, pop them down below in the comments and we'll get to them hopefully today or maybe next time I do frequently asked questions. Wanted to let you know I have a New Year's, oh, good. Hannah is the one who has asked me that question the most. She just gave me a thumbs up, so I'm glad it helped. New Year's special for my coaching, because I do one-on-one coaching for, you know, people who want to transform their health, who want to make big health changes or small health changes and transform especially their energy. Because, you know, weight, it's what we look at in the Western world, but it's not really what we should be looking at as far as our health. We should be looking at our energy. We should be looking at, do I have the vitality to get through every day? Am I feeling alive? Am I feeling like myself? And that's what I help people with. So this week I have room for 5 free energy breakthrough sessions for people. That's free. And for my clients, anybody who signs up to be my client in January, which you would do after talking to me, you're not just going to sign up just to sign up. You're going to talk first. And I have a discount for January for the first 3 people. So wanted to let you know about that. I don't have a link right now, but if you want to know, just send me a private message. So next question is headaches. So I get questions about migraines. I had a question in the group the other day about weather-related headaches. I just said a little bit ago that I get migraines if I eat gluten. So I love this question and I want to help you, and I just did a live stream on it. So 20 minutes, I think it was what it was. I don't remember. It's in the group. So the whole health community, head over to the group if you have questions about headaches. And I cover a lot of stuff in that live stream as far as how to prevent them, brain health, and what you can do. So yeah, go over to the whole health community and you'll find that live stream. I did it Friday? It's titled Headaches. Just click on the video button and it's there. So another question I get is, when should I be drinking water? I've talked about water a lot. We need water, and you need a lot of water. So take your weight, whatever it is, 140, divide it in 2, so that'd be 70, and that's how many ounces you need of water a day. So one question is, what about drinking my water with meals? Because that helps me feel full. And I see this information a lot on like dieting advice in popular magazines, on websites. It's a big tip. Help yourself to stop eating so much by having a big glass of water before you eat, because you'll feel full. Well, that's true. You are going to feel full. You're going to put a big glass of water into your stomach. You're going to start to stretch the stretch receptors. It's going to start to feel full. Unfortunately, it's not very good. So you have acid in your stomach. And again, my hair is just kind of driving me nuts here. Sorry. So you have teeth in your mouth. Duh, right? You have teeth in your mouth. You don't have any teeth in your stomach. Once you swallow, no more teeth. This is a problem. For one, most people don't chew their food very well. When we see people in the ER because they have food stuck in their throat, you talk to the surgeon or whoever went in to get it, it's often the size of a deck of cards. Like, what are you doing even putting that in your mouth? And then chew it. Whatever. So, we don't chew our food very well. If you've ever puked and you've accidentally looked, you know this. We don't chew our food very well. So, step 1, chew your food. And another thing, a tip. So, I'm having an Andes mint. Okay, so I had 4. I realized when I'm eating a 4, once I swallow, I want another bite, right? Because I can't taste it anymore. But I don't care how big that bite is. If I take that Andes mint, it's only, this big. If I eat it in 3 bites, I'm just as happy as if I ate 3 Andes mints. Because I really don't care how big that bite is. I care about the sweetness and the flavor while I'm chewing. That was kind of a random bunny trail. But anyway, chew your food. So you're chewing your food, you swallow it, and then it goes down into your stomach. Well, you just had a huge glass of water, which is going to help so that you don't eat as much. But you have a lot of stomach acid, and that acid is super, super, super potent because you don't have any teeth in your stomach. And that acid has to break down that food. It has to break it down into molecules that your body can absorb. So, you don't have teeth in your stomach. You only have this super potent acid, but you just drank a huge thing of water and you diluted all of that acid. Oops. You're not going to eat as much because you're going to feel full, but you're not going to digest as well either, because you just diluted all that acid and now your stomach can't work like it's supposed to. Hey, Andrea, welcome. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, type thumbs up, whatever, or ask me a question if that doesn't make sense. But you need that acid in your stomach to digest your food. It has to be super acidic. So if you have that big glass of water, you're not going to be digesting as well. And then you're going to have that food sitting in your stomach because it doesn't go into your intestines until it's broken down. And so then it's just sitting there. And what does food do if it's just sitting? It starts to make gas. We don't want that. Because if it starts to make gas, then we start to get bloated. And then we start to have lots of gas. Which my kids think is awesome. But it's not. Because they have butt rot. Oh my word. So, don't drink water with your meal. So as far as heartburn, if your stomach is empty too long, good question. Heartburn, it's actually, so the acid is getting up into your esophagus. That's what makes you feel like, haha, that laughing was for butt rot, I bet. This is Rebecca. That delay, I don't see your laughter until, wow, but my goodness, if you come and visit Daniel, I don't know, maybe he's drinking too much water right before he eats. So, hi Karen. So you have this little sphincter that keeps the food and the acid from going up into your esophagus, and acid reflux is when you get a little bit of that acid up. It's often counterintuitive, but it's often because you don't have enough acid in your stomach, so that sphincter kind of relaxes because it doesn't care, and then the acid that is there goes up. So it doesn't make any sense when you think about it. Like, I have acid, but you can drink apple cider vinegar, which is acid, and that will increase the acid in your stomach, and it'll close that sphincter. It works really well for acid reflux for a lot of people. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just saying what works and what a lot of people have used to help. So acid reflux, we could go into a huge live stream just on that, but we're not going to. So don't drink water with your meals. You want to drink it on an empty stomach. You want to drink it, in between your meals. And then the next question I get, how about tea and coffee? And what about the water in food? Does that matter? And yeah, it counts. When you have food that's high in water content, so vegetables, fruits, it counts as a little bit of your water. Perfect. Eat more fruits and veggies. You could eat those with your meal. I hope you're eating those with your meal. You don't drink them. So yeah, they count. Now, tea and coffee, maybe not so much. Anything with caffeine in it is going to count as a negative. Sorry. So if you're drinking coffee and it's caffeinated, I don't understand why people would drink decaf, but they do. So if it's caffeinated, then it counts as a negative. Sorry, Brittany. You can still drink it, but caffeine is a diuretic. It gets the water out of your body, so you need to drink a cup of water just to negate the cup of coffee. Sorry. It's also kind of hard on your stress hormones and on your adrenal glands because caffeine, it triggers your body to be stressed. So it works for a lot of people to wake them up and keep them going throughout the day, but that's why I work with my clients on their energy levels, because you should be able to get through the day without relying on coffee, without relying on caffeine. If you have to rely on anything to get you through the day, you're not at your peak health. So I'll help you with that, because I want you to be at your best. What time is it? I can't see my clock. Somebody tell me what time it is. But I think I covered all my FAQs. So I had what color is corn, is fruit full of sugar, headaches, when should I drink water, what about tea, coffee, and food? I think that's it. So, 8:58, perfect, thanks Hannah. Yeah, I try to be done before 9. So, and so we've got 8:58, 9 o'clock. You rounded, 8:58, perfect, thank you. So, I think we're done. Next week is going to be coloring. Who loves to color? I love to color. I don't do it enough, but I love it. And it's so relaxing. Diane at the library, she even has coloring days where you can, like, the whole community can come and you can color and just relax. It's wonderful because coloring is amazing. So next week we're going to have a guest right here. Angel Ingalls is going to be our guest. She's going to talk a little bit about coloring and she's going to share some stuff with you. And yeah, I'm excited about it. So next week, I don't know, Hannah. I don't know if I've seen the coloring this year. I guess, I don't know. She's done some cooking stuff at the library. I don't know about coloring. Diane, if you're watching, let us know in the comments below if you still do the coloring stuff. Because I don't know. I have to check the library. But anyway, on the live stream next week, we're going to talk to Angel about coloring and how it can impact your health. So join us next week. Hop over to the health community and catch that live stream on headaches. If you have any questions about headaches, how to prevent them or anything, hop over there. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.